Dear students, today we are going to discuss about a very small topic of the operations research, that is the game theory. Now, first of all, we should understand the basic concepts of the game theory, and then we will go for the practical aspect of the game theory. So, what do we mean by game theory? Game theory is a body of knowledge which is concerned with the study of decision making in the situation where two or more rational opponents are involved under conditions of competition and conflicting interest. That is, there must be at least two parties, and these parties must have a conflict in their goals. That means both of them either want to achieve the similar things, both the parties have the similar kind of goals, and their interest conflicts. It deals with the human process in which an individual decision making unit can be the individuals or a group. It can be informal organization, it can be formal organization, it can be the country, it can be the society, it can be the trade unions. Many times in the organizations we have the scenario of the trade union versus the management, developed countries versus developing countries, and so on. So in the situation of a game, each player has a set of strategies. That means the options available with him, which he or she is going to exercise to achieve the objectives. Like for instance, if we take the example in the Indian context, if assuming that there are two beverages companies, Pepsi and Coke, both want to capture the market share. So to capture the market share, both of them have the n number of strategies available with them. That may be the price cut, that may be the discount, that may be the certain sponsorship to the any of the event or celebrity endorsement or something like that. Strategies. Each player has a number of strategies available with him to achieve the objective. And one player do not have any control over the other's strategy. But the outcome of the strategies, that is the combination of the strategy of company A and the company B, is known as payoff. So payoff depends upon the combination of the both of them. That means how the company A is behaving and how the company B is going to behave into the similar kind of scenario. We can divide the type of games, or we can segregate the games in the two on the basis of the two categories. One is on the basis of the number of players, and one is on the basis of the outcome. So if we are going to divide it on the basis of number of players, that can be 2 or n. That means if there are only two rational opponents are there, then we will say that 2 players, and if there are more than 2, then we will call them n. Similarly, on the basis of outcome, outcome means if the gain of one is equals to the loss of other or vice versa, then we call it zero sum game. That means net to net result will be 0, one will be in plus and one will be into the minus. Second one, non-zero sum. So today we are going to discuss the combination of these two, that is two person zero sum game. That means there are only two players having a number of strategies, and the net outcome is equals to 0. That means the gain of one is equals to the loss of the another. For instance, if we take the example of two companies, like there is a company A and there is a company B. Company A is having three strategies, A1, A2 and A3, and similarly the company B is having the strategies like B1, B2 and B3. Okay, if the company is A is going for A1 strategy and B is going for B1 strategy, then there is a outcome of 12. For instance, here it is minus 8, minus 2, 6, 7 and 3, and minus 10, minus 6 and 2. Now, first of all, we must understand the values of the table. That means this payoff table is always drawn in favor of A. That is the company into the row. That means Any positive value is the gain of row and loss of column. Similarly, any negative value is gain of column and loss of row. Why I'm talking about all these things? Because there are different types of games. On the basis of the let's understand the different types of questions which we may encounter in the game theory. As soon as we get the question in the game theory, first of all we should check about the saddle point. Saddle point is the point at which both the parties are going to agree. So how to check the saddle point? That is another case. So first, as soon as we get the question, first check saddle point. If saddle point exists, then our job is over. If saddle point exists, job is over. If there is no saddle point, then go for these options. Then check whether this matrix is of 2 by 2. If it is 2 by 2, directly apply formula. That means if the matrix is of 2 by 2, then directly apply the formula. If there are m number of rows and 2 columns, that means a number of rows are there and only 2 columns. That means I'm talking about a ladder. So ladder means you are going for graphical method, and because the ladder goes up, so we will be going for upper envelope into the graph. Similarly, once there are only 2 rows and n number of columns, that means I'm talking about a railway track. Railway track means I'm talking about a ground level. Ground level means I'm talking about, just for understanding it, that means we are going for a lower area into the graph. So whenever you have either 2 rows or 2 columns, then you should go for graphical. If you have only 2 rows and only 2 columns, directly apply formula. Again repeating, in the situation of no saddle point. If there is no saddle point and if the matrix is of 2 by 2, directly apply formula. If any one of them is 2, either row is 2 or column is 2, you can go for graphical method. Apply graphical method to convert that matrix in the form of 2 by 2. In case of m by 2, we go for upper envelope, and in case of 2 by n, we go for lower envelope. And if there are m number of rows and n number of columns, that means m by n matrix, then simply go for dominance rule. Now the situation now we are going for briefly that how we are going to do it. How to check the saddle point? How to check the saddle point? First, go and select minimum from each row. Minimum from each row. Just take the example. For instance, if you take the, okay, I'm just taking the same example which I have discussed with you, that A is having 3 options, A1, A2, and A3, and B is also having the 3 options, B1, B2, and B3. So if I want to discuss about this matrix, so 12 here denotes that if A will go for A1 and B will go for B1, then the result will be in the favor of A. Why A? Because this value is positive. By how much value? 12. Any positive value is the gain of row and any negative value is the gain of column. For instance, this minus 8, what this minus 8 denotes? When A will go for A1 and B will go for B2, then the game will be in the favor of B by 8. I will not say minus 8. Minus indicates that it is the gain of B. Similarly, minus 6 denotes that when A will go for A3 and B will go for B2, then the gain will be in the favor of B by 6. Okay. So now, for instance, if I am going to check this saddle point, what are the steps? Step number 1, quite clear. Step 1 is quite clear. First of all, go for minimum of each row. Likewise, over here. In the first row, what is the minimum? -8. Second row, what is the minimum? 3. Third row, what is the minimum? -10. This is known as row minima column, because this is being generated as a column. And what is this? This is row minima. So from each row we select minimum, and that will going to form row minima column. Similarly, from each column select the maximum. 12, 6, -10. What is the maximum? 6. Maximum 7. Maximum 3. So step 1, again I am repeating to you, whenever you are going for these steps, so first go for row minima, then go for column maxima. Step 3, select the maximum value from the row minima column. So from the row minima column, what is the maximum value? 3. Select the minimum from the column maxima row. What is that? 3. If both of them are equal, yes, saddle point exists. Where that saddle point is there? At the intersection of these two, that is this 3. How to write the answer? When this 3 will come? When A will go for A2 and B will go for B3, then the game will be in favor of A, because it is positive value. By how much? By 3. Again check the rule. Again repeating, just check the rule. What the rule says, that select minimum in each row and it will form row minima column. Already we have discussed. We have to select minimum from each row. Then select maximum in each column and it is going to form column maxima row. Then maximum of row minima column and minimum of column maxima row. If it is same, then saddle point exists. If it is not, then you are going to this side, that is no saddle point. Then check whether the matrix is of 2 by 2. If it is 2 by 2, directly apply the formula. If either rows are 2 or columns are 2, then go for graphical method. If both are not 2, none of them are not 2, then go for dominance rule. Again, all these 4 options you are going to exercise once there is no saddle point. Is it clear to all of you? That is no saddle point. Now, how to apply the formula? Like this. A is having 2 strategies. Again, 2 by 2. 2 by 2 means that A is also having 2 strategies and B is also having 2 strategies. A1 and A2 and B1 and B2. So, A is having 2 strategies, A1 and A2. B is also having 2 strategies, B1 and B2. And there is no saddle point. Again repeating, there is no saddle point. So, then we are going to solve it with the help of formula. How to apply it? Then we assume that A is going to apply A1 by X probability and A2 by 1 minus X probability. For instance, if somebody says that company A is going for A1 strategy by 30%, so that means company A is going for A2 strategy by 70%. Because here we are talking about the probability, that's why we are talking about point values, 0.3, 0.7 or something like that. Similarly, B is also having 2 options, B1 and B2. If B is going for B1 strategy by Y probability, so that means B is going for B2 by 1 minus Y probability. Okay. So, saddle point exists, first we have to check. And saddle point exists is also known as pure strategy, because there we are going to adopt any one of them. No saddle point means I am talking about mixed strategies. Mixed strategies means I am talking about we are going for the mixing of the more than 2 strategies, or we can say that mixing of 2 strategies. So here we are talking about pure. We are going to apply any one of them. Here we are going to talk about mixed. We are going to blend all of any one of them, any 2 of them. So now the question may arise that how to learn the formula. Nothing to worry, nothing to worry. Simply in the matrix also we know how to go for the solving of the matrix. Same method you have to adopt. X11, X22. There we go for X11 into X22 and X minus X12 multiplied by X21. Similarly, we will go over here, but in place of multiply, we will apply simplest format. We will apply plus. x, so in the upon x11 plus 22 minus x12 plus x21 in all the three cases. We will go for the value of x, because as soon as we will get the value of x, we can find out the value of 1 minus x. As soon as we will get the value of y, we can find out the value of 1 minus y. And here we talks about the value of game. Here we talks about the value of game. So first of all, decide about the upon. Upon means x11 plus 22 minus 12 plus 21. Upon is same for all. Now, how to decide about how to solve it? So once you have to find out the value of x, just simply close the value of x, that row. If simply just close that row of x and start reading from the back end, 22 minus 21. Whenever you need for the probability for the x, value of the x, just close the row of x. You will get the value. Start reading from the last, 22 minus 21. Once you want to find out the value of y, simply close the first column. Start reading from the last, 22 minus 12, 22 minus 12. And for value of game, again, the determinant how you find out over there into the matrix, 1 1 multiplied by 2 2 minus 1 2 multiplied by 2 1. Is it correct to all of you? Just take one example. For instance, I will take a basic example of a 2 by 2 matrix. There the player A having two options, A1 and A2, and player B is also having two options, B1 and B2. If player A is going to adopt A1 strategy by X probability and A2 by 1 minus X probability, B is going to adopt B1 by Y probability and B2 by 1 minus Y probability. First of all, as I have already told you, first of all, we should always go for the uh, to check whether the saddle point exists or not. Here, if I will check -7, -6, 4, 8, no saddle point. So no saddle point means that means we have to apply formula. How to apply formula? As I have already told you, whenever you have to go for the to find out the value of x, simply close the first row. Simply close the first row. Start reading from the last. 4 minus -6. If you have to calculate the value of y, simply close the y. Start from the last. 4 minus -7. Okay. If you have to go for the upon, then how to proceed with the things? Like value of game says that 8 into 4 minus -7 into -6. So in place for the upon, in place of multiply, simply put plus. That means 8 plus 4 minus -7 plus -6. That means 10 upon 25. That means 2 upon 5. Here it will become 8 plus 4, 12 minus -7 plus -6, that means -13. So 12 minus -13, that will become 25. That will become 10 upon 25. So upon will remain same with all. So I will just simply copy it with over here again. 11 upon 25 in the value of game, again for 32 minus 42 upon 25. That means minus 10 by 25. That means minus 2 by 5. That means it is going to equals to minus 2 upon 5. Okay. So now how to write the answer? We have to write the answer like that. Now when it will become? When A will go for A1 strategy by how much? By, for A1 we have taken X, that means 2 by 5. A2 by 1 minus X, that means 1 minus 2 by 5, that means 3 by 5. B will go for B1 strategy by 11 by 25 and B2 by 14 by 25, and the result will be in the favor of, because it is minus, that means in favor of B. How much? By 5. This answer will be reported like this. Because it is minus, that's why it is in the favor of B. By how much? By 2 by 5. A will go for A1 by X. X means 2 by 5. A2 means 1 minus X. That means 1 minus 2 by 5. That means 3 by 5. It will become B1. That means Y. That means 11 by 25. And B2 by 1 minus Y. That means 14 by 25. Okay. We will take another example where there are two rows and n number of columns. So first of all, as I have already told you that first of all we should check the saddle point. If saddle point exists, then question over. So once we are going for the saddle point checking, first of all go for the row minima. In the first row minimum is -7, second row it is -6. Then column, first column 8, second column 6, next column 4, next column 9. So once we go for saddle point checking, there is no saddle point. That means now we have to go for the no saddle point area where there are four ways. First of them is to apply formula. Can we apply formula? No, because for applying formula there must be at least two rows and two columns. There must be only two rows and two columns. So there are two rows, but there are n number of columns. Then what to do? We can't apply the formula. So we are going for the graphical method. Graphical method we can apply whether when there are either two rows or when there are either two columns. At least any one of them must be two. So here there are two rows, so A1 and A2. So we draw two straight lines and we name one A1 and another as A2. Now take another. Here there were two rows, so another is column. So go now to go for the column wise. In the first column, 8 minus 6. So here we will go for 8, A1, in A1 we will go for 8 and A2 we will go for -6. Straight line draw. This is known as B1 strategy. If you go for B2, 5, 6, 5 is at A1, so 5 is at A1 and 6 at A2, draw a straight line. This is B2. Similarly, -7, 4, -7 and 4, 9 minus 2, 9 minus 2. Now, because there are two rows and n number of columns, that means railway track. Railway track means lower envelope. Go for the lower area enclosed by these lines. So this is the lower envelope. This area is lower envelope. Find out the intersection point of that envelope near to the baseline. Find out the intersection point of that envelope near to the baseline. So here there is only one intersection point of that envelope. Though this is also intersection point, but it is not of that area. So of the lower envelope. How we will decide lower or upper? Railway track means lower. Ladder means upper. So in case of this, we will going for the lower envelope. Lower envelope is this one. The intersection point is this one. This intersection point is being generated by which one? B1 and B3. B1 and B3. So that means here only B1 and B3 will be there for solving the problem with the help of formula, and B2 and B4 will be out. B2 and B4 will be out. That means we are going to simply strike off B2 and B4. Only B1 and B2 will be there. That means now my problem will become 2 by 2 in the form of 8 minus 6 minus 7, 4. Now we can apply formula and solve it. How to apply formula? This will become x, this will become 1 minus x, this will become y, this will become 1 minus y, then we will apply the formula. Okay, now we'll take another example. Okay, now take another example. Once there are two columns and there are n number of rows, that means we are talking about the area where there are n number of columns, n number of rows and only two columns. That means I'm talking about upper envelope. Upper envelope. So again, whatever is two columns are there. So one I will take B1 and other I will take B2. Simply draw these A1, A2, A3, A4 one by one on these graph. and we will go for upper envelope. Upper envelope means the upper area. Now there are two intersection points. Again, I'm repeating. We have to select the intersection point which is near to the baseline. Baseline means 0, 0. Okay. How we have drawn the line? Already we have discussed in the previous example. Again, repeating. Just draw these two, whatever is 2. Then take other one by one. Minus 7, 6. Minus 7, 6. 7 minus 4. Minus 4 minus 2. And so on. Then select the upper envelope. There are two intersection points. For instance, this is P and this is Q. So we will take P because P is near to the baseline. And that's why this P is being from the A1 and A2. That's why these two will be striked off. So now we will solve applying the formula. Now I'm going for the fourth case. Fourth case, that means there are situation of m by n. For instance, there are a number of rows and there are a number of columns. So for A, there is A1, A2, and A3. 9, 8, minus 7, 3, minus 6, 4. So we will be going to, first of all, going to check the saddle point. How to check the saddle point? Minimum minus 7, minus 6, minus 7. Maximum 4, 8, 9. To go for the minimum from maximum and maximum from minimum. So here it is minus 6 and it is 4. There is no saddle point. So how to go for the dominance? Dominance rule says that delete the row which is dominated by means delete the row which is of lesser value as compared to the another. So first of all, I am going to check A1 and A2. Whether 9 dominates 3, yes. 8 dominates minus 6, yes. But minus 7 doesn't dominate 4. That's why A1 is not dominating. Now I will check A1 with A3. 9 dominates 6, yes. 8 dominates 7, yes. Minus 7 equal, yes. It's perfect. Two of them are dominating and one of them is equal. That means A1 dominates A3. It means we should delete A3 row. Delete the row which is dominated by any other row. Now go for column. B1 dominates B2. Delete column which dominate. 9 dominate 8, yes. 3 dominate minus 6, yes. That means delete B1. We will 1. Here we will delete A3. Here we will delete A3 and here we will delete the B1. And that's how now the matrix will become again 2 by 2. And then we are going to solve it with the help of formula. Now again going to give a kaleidoscopic view, we should refer to the our flow chart again. That means whenever we have to discuss about the game theory, first of all, we should check about the saddle point. How to check the saddle point? Row minima, column maxima. And from minimum, we should select maximum. And from maximum, we will select minimum. If both are equal, then saddle point exists. If not, we will go for no saddle point. If 2 by 2 matrix, directly apply the formula. If it is not, then check whether the rows are 2 or the columns are 2, then you can apply graphical. If both of them are not 2, any one of them is not 2, then simply go for dominance rule. Again, I have clearly written over here, delete the row which is dominated by any other row and delete the column which dominates any other column till we get 2 by 2. So that's how we should complete the game theory in short. Okay, all the very best.